Hello, everybody. I am Venomous Pie. You guys know me full well as the Pinkie Pie of the group. And welcome to another episode of Bronimaniacs Discuss. I have with me today our our rarity of the group, which is Jedi Penguin Danielle. Say hello.
Greetings, everyone who still likes me.
We have our Sunset Shimmer, which is Crimson Starbright. What again, something Crimson?
Hello, Crimson.
Larson!
I think Crimson has left the building.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Crimson.
Huh?
Oh, there you are.
I think Crimson has left the building.
No, he's here. Well, at least he's announced now. We have our Rainbow Dash group, which is Kanata.
If there's one thing this episode has taught everyone, it's that Fluttershy is best pony.
Nope.
Well, she has come a long way.
She's the best pony for me.
We have our Trixie of the group, which is David Stapleford.
Hello, every pony. How was your weekend?
Pretty good.
That's
Pretty good. Just been watching NASCAR and drinking beer.
It's alright.
We have our Twilight of the
I
group.
thought I smelled something.
We have our Twilight, which is Shopwit.
I have a cider and pizza on standby because Slice of Light didn't hurt my brain as much as this episode.
This person was our special guest last week, but then he decided to become a main member of this group, introducing Little Looney, our Mod Pie. Say hello, Little Looney.
Hello, everyone. I'm not sounding like a robot, am I?
Nope, you're good right
No,
now.
so
You
far so
sound pretty
good.
No, you
Good.
just sound like a pie.
And we also have our Spike of the group, which is Elite Yoshi. Say hello.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. How y'all doing?
Not too bad. And we have a special guest here. Please welcome a good friend of mine, Emily the Pegasus.
What's it?
And the episode we'll be covering today will be Fame and Misfortune. An episode that has broke a lot of people's brains.
Including me.
And mine.
I love this episode.
It's awesome. What did you expect?
Larson!
Actually, there is a thing about
Awesome.
that. So, can we actually avoid the Larson joke?
Yep,
No.
we'll get to that. But anyways, you'll know the full deal. Name one thing that we do like about the episode in a random order, but then we will go in reverse and we'll say one thing we don't like. And once we're done with that, we'll give our final thoughts. So, I shall pick in random, and up first shall be Kanata.
Okay.
Banana.
Canada.
Kanata.
Okay. Okay, my positive for this episode is that this episode did a nice representation of how the fandom is as a whole when it comes to the main sets. With everyone laughing at everything Pinkie Pie does, the reporter like near the end of the episode, I kind of like questioning how all of them are friends. The fandom asking for the shot to stand up for themselves, only for those same fans to question if they like her or not once she does. People arguing at the end who is the best pony and who has the best lessons. And that one character, screaming, is Applejack and Pinkie Pie related or what? There's been, plenty of bad representation out there in the media in general about us. So, to finally see to finally see a good representation from Hasbro and everything, it's just amazing to see, in my opinion.
I can be able to see that.
And that's all I have to say for my positives.
Alright. Who do you pass it off to?
I will pass it off to Shopwit.
Okay, this episode, I should probably take notes, but I was too busy rebooting my brain after this. Because I don't know what to think about this episode, which is why I'm probably gonna refuse rating this episode later. But maybe let's go with the system and the positive. I actually like the Starlight in this episode. How she's helpful and supporting toward Twilight, and how she, at the end of the day, she kind of solved the problem without magic. That's progress.
That's good.
And no, I'm not biased.
Oh.
Because come on, originally, according to some infos, originally that was supposed to be Spike. Well, we get to that later.
Yeah. So, who do you pass it off to? If you can.
Okay, let's see. I don't have... I don't have Neon to pass it off to. Dang it. I pass it off to GLaDOS. I mean Looney.
Alright, Looney, you're
Oh
up.
boy. I'm clear on this. Well, other than how meta it was, what I liked were the reintroduced.
Yep.
And Robot.
Yeah, it's doing it again.
Yeah.
You might want to come back to me later.
Shop Glimmer. Hashtag Shop Glimmer.
Alright, Shop,
See,
you wanna...
am I coming through? Am I coming through now?
A little bit. It's making
Oh,
progress.
Of all days, my phone act up on me. Ugh. See, okay. Other than how meta it was, what I liked were the reintroduced G3 ponies, Coconut Cream, and Tula Wula. What I like about these two is that they represent the quieter group of fans who just enjoy the show for what it is without questioning it. I really connect with them because it's the group that I more or less fall into. I feel like we're usually ignored, however, in favor of the very loud and vocal group of haters who complain about almost everything the show has to offer. I'm not like that. Well, yes, I'll agree the show has its faults. I don't see the point in continuing to watch it for the sole purpose of writing on message boards about how much they hated this or how much they hated that. I feel like Coconut Cream and Tula Willow represented the often unheard side of the fandom. I applaud the show for giving us recognition. I've even made the statement those two again.
Nope, you sound good now.
It's gone now, but it did for a moment.
Did I get my point across at least?
Yeah,
you
sorry.
So, if you finish...
I never knew they were Generation 3 characters. I thought they were original characters.
I actually know that from the Vector Brony.
I knew that.
Yeah,
I knew
everyone on
that.
Twitter's been pointing it out.
I knew that from outside sources. And well, I'm not the biggest fan of G3. That having them featured here was actually pretty cool.
You know, considering that Pinkie Pie was originally G3 Pony, as well as Rainbow Dash.
And Rarity. Who-
Having another G3 ponies in Generation 4, but in better form, it's not that bad.
Not bad at all.
If only they bring back
Yeah, I
Minky.
like that.
Anyways, who do you pass
Give
it off?
it time.
Who do you pass it off to, Looney?
I'm gonna pass it off to David Stapleford.
Do I get the honor?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Well, you know what? I really enjoyed this episode. My positive for this episode was the appreciation for the main six. I got to know them a little bit better And I just said on a post that I did enjoy the fact that they have flaws,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes them more likable.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that's just my positive, and that's all from me.
Alright, who do we pass it off to?
Okay. Did Crimson go yet?
Nope.
No.
No, he hasn't.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna pass it off to you, Crimson.
Whenever you're ready, buddy.
Well, for the positive on this episode, Rarity, why?
I don't know what you mean, darling.
It's that look, isn't it?
Oh gosh.
Rarity, I know what
had
you
a
mean.
feeling.
It's
Great,
Veramina,
the face of
darling.
nightmares.
That was Veramina, darling.
That's on it.
Everyone, hashtag Veramina. Get that starting.
10-bit that someone will write the creepypasta based on it.
Mm. Anyways, you were saying, Crimson?
The episode was good. That's all I could say. I just want my 2 cents on Rarity there. What the heck? That just scared the hell out of me.
I had nightmares on account of it.
Are you seeing it as a positive or a negative, bro?
Positive. The episode was good and all, and I got nothing else.
Alright, you don't want to go into the details?
Nope.
Alright. Who do you pass it off to?
Clara, how are you going?
Who? Who do you pass it off to, Crimson?
I was asking Kanada.
Oh yeah, I was first.
Yeah, he was
Me,
Yeah.
me, Shopwood, and Rooney has gone.
and David.
And David.
Then I'll pass it off to Emily.
Alright, Emily.
Okay. I liked everything about the episode, but at the end when they didn't solve the problem, that made me so mad because usually they solve all the problems and they just they were like, okay, let's just hug it out and then end the episode.
What a twist!
They didn't even solve anything right at the end.
Actually, I think that was supposed to be a representation of, no matter what you do, there's always going to be, those kind of fans in the fan base. Those fans are never going to go away. So you can't solve that problem.
Exactly.
It's just like
opinion.
a circle
It's all
of
based
friends.
on
My
opinion.
point exactly.
So it's just an opinion lesson then.
Yeah,
Mhm.
pretty much.
Eh. Okay, pass it on, Trixie.
David already went.
I went already.
Oh, who hasn't gone then?
Yoshi,
Elite.
myself, and Daniel.
Daniel.
I'm going.
Yep, you're up.
Yeah.
Yep, you're on.
Alright. First, I had something to say.
And
A
that
bit
would
of
be
an announcement. Pinkie Pie is no longer my favorite pony of the main 7.
Oh,
Wait, what?
what?
Yep, Pinkie
What?
Pie is no longer my favorite pony of the main 7.
Oh my.
Really?
Traitor.
And now my favorite pony is Glim Glam.
I've taught you well, my student.
Yes, Starlight has become my favorite out of the main 7 now.
That's,
Mhm.
that's easily understandable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Starlight was my favorite in this stuff. Like just as she reacted to everything, like how she kept a calm, leveled head during it all. Like Like,
Mhm.
Starlight was definitely the best part of this episode for me. Aside from the shots taken at the fans.
Yeah.
And you just pointed, and right that you just pointed out how much another point why that I can emphasize with Starlight, how she keep calm her head in this problem.
Yep.
And can we all say one thing about this episode? Is can we all agree that this episode basically described the entire fandom in a nutshell?
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Yeah,
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 pretty
so
much.
It did.
that was my positive for the episode.
But I
Yeah.
have to.
Well,
I have
I'm not. That's not my positive. I'm just saying, and can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
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 Starlight was definitely
That was
the
basically
best
my
thing
positive.
for this episode, in my opinion. I loved her in it. It was really awesome.
Daniel.
There is one thing that I am wondering about, though.
What's that?
What's that?
Would we have achieved the same results if it had been Spike helping out instead of Starlight?
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
That is actually something that I want to address.
What, you didn't hear that?
Oh, I heard.
Let's talk about this after the negatives as a separate point.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. I really loved Starlight in this episode. I thought she was really well written in it. I think I'm really glad that they brought it to this season for her to be in there instead of Spike, because they really did a great job with it.
Daniel, can I just say one thing?
Sure.
Well, you're gonna like me because I bought a Starlight Glimmer T-shirt.
Nice.
Nice.
It
You're
has her
lucky.
cutie mark right on the front.
Do it.
Nice.
So I thought, why not, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, actually, you know what I'm thinking of doing? Going to one of those. All you have to do is take a picture from your phone and put it on a T-shirt.
Oops.
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah,
love to
I've heard of those.
I love to put my OC on a T-shirt and like my cutie mark just like blown up in a big, picture.
Mhm.
Yeah. that'd
Yeah, I've
be
heard of
awesome.
those.
But the cool thing is that these T-shirts can become so cheap. They can be like $3 or whatever you want on it. Cause it's just a T-shirt. Should be cheap.
Mm-hmm.
All right, back on topic.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you don't have anything else, Daniel, who do you pass it off to?
Who's left?
Me and Yoshi.
Okay. Eeny, meeny, miny, Venom.
Okay. Oh man, I am. Touching upon this episode has put me in kind of an awkward spot. Like, because almost everything that was said about, the main six in this episode is kind of what I've been saying. Like, case in point with Fluttershy. People complaining that she's learned the same lessons over and over, and I was like, that's what I've been saying for how long has it been now?
Let's see. How long has this show been going on?
Well,
Since
7 years.
2010, so almost 7 years.
Well, I became a fan just when season 4 started. So basically, I've been saying
That would have been
for,
2013.
Yeah, so I've been saying it for almost about at least a year. And, but if I am going to pick a positive for the episode, it would definitely be the comedy. Oh my gosh, this episode had me rolling on the floor throughout the entire thing. This episode, at least to me, is beyond hilarious. Probably the funniest episode of the season.
Funnier than Discord and Harmony?
In fact, I can have two favorites. I have two favorites right off the bat. The first one is with Pinkie Pie, wie, one of the ponies in Ponyville said, "Oh, classic Pinkie. She's even funnier in person." And then Pinkie Pie yelled, "You'll know me for years." But hands down, at least to me, the funniest bit in this episode to me is towards the end of the episode with Twilight, and one of the old mare ponies said, "Twilight was better without the wings."
Ooh.
I pretty much broke when that line was said. Because, first off, I became a fan of the show just when the Twilight Corn drama was starting to die down. And second of all, considering that Lawson wrote the original draft for the episode, that was just super spot on. That I couldn't even hold my breath because I couldn't even breathe because I was laughing so hard at that. So yeah,
You can tell Lawson had his fingerprints on this one.
yeah, I get that.
Absolutely.
You can, despite the what we'll get to in a bit, you can tell that that bit did have Lawson's fingerprints on it.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I might as well pass it on to the very last person to go for our positives, which would be
But not least.
which would be Elite Yoshi. Whenever you're ready, Yoshi.
All right. First off, can all you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. We can hear
Sorry,
you.
what was that?
I can hear you.
Like no robotic sounds or anything. I'm coming in clear.
You're coming in clear.
Yeah, the one that's getting all the robotic sounds this time.
Yeah, this is like the first time I'm actually doing this podcast from my actual house. I'm usually doing it at my aunt's house for like on Sunday dinners, but okay, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what positives were mentioned so far? I heard Starlight. The episode. Did anyone talk about how meta the episode was?
I believe that goes for the most of us.
Mm.
So I think we pretty much covered all the positives here then.
You can always
So
expand on
elaborate on some of them that were also already covered.
Yeah, I have to admit, this is probably one of the best TV shows that's actually done, a meta episode right. I mean, where a show is, like where basically the show takes a look at like maybe the criticisms for the fans and they end up looking at like the commentary on what some fans talk about, because I don't know, because when I think of this episode doing it right, I think of another show doing it wrong, but I'm not gonna mention that here.
I believe I know what show you're
I just
talking about.
personally love how they were talking. I just love how like in this episode we actually saw how how each of the main six managed to stand up for themselves pretty well, and I think that culminated pretty well with the flawless song.
Oh yeah. Wait.
That's my positive for the episode. I have to admit, it pretty much sums up everything. Flaws, and we just use those flaws to better ourselves as our own characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And no one really talked about the song actually.
Because I have my thoughts on this song.
Wait.
Robot.
Yeah.
Did I just ruin it for Sharpwood or something?
Nope.
No. You're fine.
All right, but yeah, that was probably my favorite part. I mean, I liked everything else about it. Oh yeah, and this isn't part of a positive, but I have to give it a mention. I gotta love how they ended up referencing two G-Free characters in this episode.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I know that out there that hate G-Free, but you know what? You gotta admit the way that they designed those two fillies, like they can actually. It shows that some G-Free characters can transfer over to the next generation.
They're adorable.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they were really good. I
That was
enjoyed
my
those.
positive.
Well, as long as the G3 ponies are transferred to the new generation, but with the changes to adjust them to the new generation, that's fine.
And I believe we got ourselves a late arrival here. Please welcome our Fluttershy.
Yep, Violet's here.
Miss Violet Bloom.
Hello, Violet.
Hey guys. Well, my feeling that Pete Van Cider is not going to be the only reboot you need for Sharpwit.
Oh, you are so right.
Alright, anything else you want to add, Yoshi?
No, I think that's pretty much
Yoshi's
it.
offline.
No, that's pretty much it.
Alright, Violet, we'll pass it off to you, since you're the last one to go.
Positive. Let's see here. Honestly, my head's a little bit scratchy with this episode, but there is one element that does make me laugh really hard.
And that would be...
What?
My emotions, darling! That's couture! Just say freak out Rarity and stressed out Rarity is definitely my favorite.
Oh my gosh.
well, you can count...
I'm still having nightmares from that.
That's why she's acting that way.
Well, she does have outfit for every occasion, so I'm not surprised to see this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I thought that was amazing.
But, by the way, can we just say we should increase the count of scary main 6 faces to 4?
I wish they would do more of those kind of scary faces. I love those scary faces, personally.
We should actually rank those.
Rarity.
Pinky, Fluttershy, Twilight, and now Rarity.
Wait, Flutter.
You're gonna love me.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Alright.
You know you love her.
I would place her as a number 4.
Yeah.
Number 3 would be tough call.
Who said it was a top?
Number 9.
He was following the order that when it shows up.
Yes. Yeah, I was in chronological order. But anyways, so you got anything else to say, Violet?
No.
Alright, well, before we move on to the negatives, can I say one thing?
Okay.
Go ahead.
How many other TV shows can you think of that have meta episodes like this?
I can think of
I can think of one.
What do you mean?
Like, you know, an episode like, basically calling out to the fans, or just addressing complaints that will...
Basically,
I can think of a certain show on Cartoon Network.
Teen Titans Go, I know Teen Titans Go did that.
We do not speak of that atrocity in this
That
room.
that reboot series is shit.
But that is an example. But
Agreed.
I can name 3.
What?
There was one moment in the Animaniacs. I can't remember what episode it was, nor what exactly happened, but it was basically calling out to some of the complaints that some fans had towards the show itself. I can't remember what it was.
Please get a live foundation.
Yeah, basically what they're saying is, if all you gotta do is complain about everything, get a life.
Yeah.
That's basically what it's saying. The other one I can think of is, do you remember that episode in Avatar: The Last Airbender, where the heroes are gone to a play that is made in the Fire Nation?
Yep, I remember that, yep.
That was one. And
did Jet just die?
And the other one is, the other one I can think of is, from Steven Universe. Well, basically, it was a big FU to the toxicity of that fandom. The mall, anyway. Yeah, those are the 3 shows I can think of. It's quite a rarity, and I welcome
Did that
a
little still subtle. NLP did that still subtle yet more directly, because pretty much everyone could hear that the same thing fandom were screaming at some point.
Oh, but wait, I have a question for all of y'all.
What?
What?
The song they were singing did not remind you of the Dazzling song.
Not me.
Not me.
We're not flawless. We will be adored.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. I see what you're
see
coming
it now.
from there, Daniel.
It was basically the same thing.
It kind of had that, look to it and that feel.
Yeah, it was similar, but it wasn't exactly like it.
But it was still similar to it.
Yeah,
they kind of recycled it a bit.
Kinda, yeah.
Well,
They recycled and edited it a bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Alright, let's move on to our negatives. So, Violet, you're up first.
Okay, my negative is actually the reason why my head hurts after watching this episode.
What is that?
It made me realize that I'm going to have to go through something after becoming a writer.
What, you mean with learning how to deal with criticism from others?
I've already
Basically,
dealt with that.
through an entire fandom trying to get at you for something.
I see what you mean.
Well, hey, to be honest, if you're planning on doing for friendship is magic, I've actually taken a look at the comments of a few fan fiction. The community is actually really nice there.
Actually, it's not fan fiction. I mean writing as in professional writer.
Well, yeah, but you know, it can also help you with becoming professional too.
Hey, Violet? Violet?
Yes?
Okay.
Don't be surprised whenever you get a book out there and someone asks you for your autograph when they have never read. Don't be surprised to see fans like that.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm mostly worried about the type of people that is just like what Rarity is going through.
Yeah, I don't blame you there.
Yeah. I mean, the best thing
I've been through that with my comics.
The best thing to do is just do the best that you can with what you can do. It's like, don't try to please everyone, you know?
Yeah, it's impossible to please everyone.
Just please yourself.
Yeah, please yourself. Try to please people that no matter what you do.
Exactly.
Basically what I try doing.
I've been
Robot.
Whoa.
Hashtag robot loony.
Robo Looney.
Oh yeah, true. Sorry, buddy.
Guys.
By the way, did anybody notice the balloon that was on the window when Twilight was winning? Anybody notice that?
Yeah, I noticed.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw it. What was up with that?
I noticed.
It was basically it was a balloon version of those picket fences that everyone that was doing a strike on Rarity's outfits were outside. It was the look of what the design was, but in balloon form.
Yep, I noticed. Oh.
I noticed it, but I didn't know what to
It was basically, you remember when, everyone just went into Rarity's critique to, be on strike, and you would see those designs of like a cross and Rarity's face.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was basically that in balloon form.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Anyways,
Can we move on before I run short of the data?
I was just gonna say that. Anything else, Violet?
No. So Yoshi, you're up.
All right. So negatives, right?
Yep.
There is one thing that's been nagging me in the back. I don't know. Like maybe it would just be that I don't know. I think it.
Pepper.
With the mind.
Jeez, and I thought my cousin's dog was hyperactive. Anyway, my negative would probably be the background characters in this episode. You know which ones.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah.
They got on my. I will admit they got on my nerves, but you know what? At least I am so thankful for Starlight in this episode because she was the only one that called them out on their bullshit, and I am so glad for
Hashtag
it.
Starlight's best pony.
There was actually a character that said for this shy is so painfully shy it's hard to relate. I don't understand understand how anybody can have a problem with Fluttershy being so painfully shy that it's hard to relate. I mean, if you, how is it a problem if they're shy themselves?
If I'm gonna be totally honest, I was kind of embarrassed by that scene because I was thinking, geez, I used to be in that group. Not hating on
Oops.
Fluttershy, but for the same
Still in
point.
that group.
I think I used to be in that group. I'm kind of embarrassed.
Aw.
I'm still kind of like really shy in a way to get out of that group, but I am like working on, getting more out there. I'm a lot, it's like 2-3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'm still not completely over it.
Yeah, true. Anything else you want to add,
That's
Yoshi?
understandable.
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, I mean, I will admit they did serve their purpose in the episode. That's pretty much it.
Alright, I guess it goes to me then. Okay. As good, I'm probably gonna go a bit of a stretch here, but while I do like Starlight in this episode, like top notch, I think Spike would have been a little better for that role. It's like I think it's like Starlight was trying to be the voice of reason of the group, and in my opinion, I think Spike fits that role much better.
Yeah, but that's only because Spike has been there a lot longer. Spike has helped Twilight a lot. It has. I mean, Starlight has only been around for like a season, but Spike has been around for like all 7 seasons. Spike has been there to help out more often when Starlight wasn't even around. So I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I mean, I felt like Spike would have been a better suited for that role than Starlight would. As good as Starlight was, I think Spike would have been a better suit.
Well, still, that is a big what-if question that is based on the those notes that it was originally supposed to be Spike, because this episode was originally supposed to be in season 5. But without that note, we probably wouldn't even ask that question.
No, I even thought of that before I found out if that was the case.
Oh, okay, you got me there.
Mm-hmm.
Still, that is still what-if question.
It is. It is, and it
Just like in the episode when this newspaper pony was saying the same what-if question about Twilight staying in Canterlot.
Which I didn't even know that was even a debate.
Neither do I.
But anyways, yeah, I do think Spike would have been better suited for the role than Starlight, as good as Starlight was. But just because the Starlight was so good in this episode, it's kind of a nitpick. I don't have that many issues about it, honestly.
Claim innocence.
But before I pass it off, I will say one thing. Starlight, you're almost in my top 10. You're my top 12.
You have landed well, my student.
She's in my top 5.
So, anyway.
Tune has a giant Starlight plushie.
Starlight's in my top 3.
Same
She's my
here.
number 3 favorite pony.
Alright.
I want a Starlight plushie.
With that being said,
Same here.
That being said, I'll pass it off to Daniel.
Daniel?
I'm here. Alright. Well, the one thing this one's kind of a nitpick for me, but the thing I didn't like about the episode is that we didn't see what Starlight did to those 2 ponies that were being hateful about Rarity, that made her run off and cry. I wanted to see what she was gonna do to them.
I'm sure Rarity Dash would agree.
I think it would be a lot like what Starlight did to the character to like kind of like bashing on Fluttershy. I think it would be a lot on those levels, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, can I?
So
Yeah.
I don't think you would too major.
Oh,
I still think it would have been awesome if she just took their cutie marks as punishment.
I was
Too
about
far.
to say that.
no, we're not.
Oh,
Oh, come on.
Absolutely not.
No, no,
I would
nope,
have
nope.
enjoyed it. Wow.
well.
Everybody, I actually did a joke in my second viewing of the episode. I made a joke about
What?
those two ponies. Something burning?
What's that?
Is something burning?
What was it?
It smells like fire. I smell Firebrand raging over the fact that they're insulting Best Pony.
Oh my.
Whoa.
Oh, you should have heard Rarity Dash when he saw it.
Oh my god, I just realized that too.
Just one.
And the Brony couple that reacted to it.
Oh yeah. Anyways, anything else you want to say, Daniel?
Nope. Just got my nitpick out of the way.
All right, Clemson. What was yours, buddy? And
Let
Oh.
we
Okay.
we can't hear you.
I think Crimson is muted.
He
I
says
think
he's
he's muted.
pressing.
He is muted. Okay.
Look the general
Look
chat.
at the comment, look in the chat. Yeah.
Oh, he'll pass? Okay. Sorry about that. David, you're up.
Okay. Great. My negative for this episode was just the over confusion of the ponies that were outside of Twilight's castle. I mean, they were arguing so much, and Twilight was, she was about to burst. I was like, why couldn't they just stop and listen to her? That was my negative. I mean, why can't you just listen to the Princess of Friendship?
Well, to be fair, this ain't the first time that people have treated the princess in a rude way. Remember when Twilight went to remember Twilight when she went to Rarity Takes Manhattan, how the townspeople were treating Princess Twilight on the streets?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, to be fair, she doesn't have. To be fair, she doesn't know what to do as a princess yet at that time.
Learning slowly, but
Fair enough, but
she's
still.
been a princess for how long now?
At least
Four
seasons now.
4 seasons. And she, why can't they just they weren't even bowing to her. Like they weren't I know they weren't supposed to, but but they weren't even.
Well, Twilight. Sorry, I interrupt you, but for one, Twilight just don't like to ponies to bow on her.
Yeah.
She's that type. She don't like that. She don't
Yeah.
appreciate that. She wants to be treated like the equal.
Mhm.
And the second thing that I think that was actually the point of the fandom wars, because no matter who would say to stop, there will still be wars. So I think that was the point of this scene.
Yeah, it was like a war zone kind of episode, but when it comes to the fandom, it's like I like this pony and I like that pony better, and Rarity is better than you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I was
Exactly.
like that.
There was something.
Hey, just be glad.
Sorry, go on. You first.
Hey, just be glad they weren't debating on who was best princess, because then that war would probably go on forever.
Oh my god! Yes,
Yeah.
if they started that.
Princess Luna's best princess.
Agreed.
Hashtag it.
Luna.
I'm surprised they didn't bring up the idea of is Guru an orphan or not?
Oh.
Well,
Maybe let's not tackle that, because probably
yeah.
topic, as well as the death of.
Speaking of which, two things. One, another funny bit was, Pinkie-Pie and Applejack related or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one had me laughing.
Yeah.
Two.
Robot.
Robot.
Season
Robot.
5.
Now you're coming in good. But anyways, And to expand on David's point, there was a
Seven
Robot
that's
again.
season 5.
robot again.
You said something about season 5.
I said I've been questioning whether they're related since season 5.
Okay, there we go. Alright, as I was trying to
Yeah,
say,
I'm about to hate my phone.
to bring up David's negative, there was something that I actually said at the very end of the episode when Applejack asked, "We're gonna have to deal with them, aren't we?" I just go, give them a week. They'll probably forget about the whole thing.
Usually what happens in an LP.
Exactly. Which is why I made that joke.
No. Yeah,
So, anything else, David?
that's good. That's my negative.
Alright.
So
Alright, Looney?
Alright. Bear with me, I've got a lot to... I wanted to get this off my chest for a long time, and this episode's finally given me the opportunity. My negative isn't so much with the episode itself, but rather the reaction. You know what I mean?
I think
I saw that on Twitter.
it was all over Twitter. I saw the whole thing.
A trend I've noticed that completely irritates me is that almost every time a new episode comes out, fans start moaning and groaning about it because there's something in the episode which they don't. When watching this episode, like, is being aimed at those. All the complaints from the ponies are taken from complaints within the fandom, such as Fluttershy learning the same lesson over and over, Pinkie Pie never being serious, Twilight having wings, and so on and so forth. What bothers me is seeing so many alleged fans bashing on the show simply because it's not catering specific. I never knew about this. I never knew about that joint 3 years ago, but I never knew about that side of the fandom when I first joined it 3 years ago. But when I started looking at fandom react a few years ago, I started to notice fans grumping more and more as it's escalated ever since.
I knew.
I just feel like all they are grumping and complaining though is just
well,
them look hypocritical.
Well, Looney,
no, they're doing by complaining about this.
Robot.
They're doing by complaining about this episode.
This episode what?
Looney? Oh boy.
Anyways,
Okay, if you finished, Looney, to counter your point a little bit, and he's left. Okay.
Connection issues.
Well, yeah. Well, I was gonna say that, I've heard this argument quite a lot, and a lot of times it does get on my nerves. Like, oh, it's just a kid's show, you shouldn't take it so seriously. It's only a little girl's show, you shouldn't take it so seriously. I kind of don't like that argument because, but if it were for some people taking things so seriously, we would have had a lot more bad stuff than we do now.
People may not want to admit it, but everybody has standards.
Yeah, everybody has standards. Everybody has standards. That is true, and there's a limit to that. But you know, it's the same argument I heard about movies. It's the same argument I heard about video games. It's like, oh, it's just a movie or it's just a video game. You shouldn't take it so seriously. It's that kind of attitude that is why we have so much bad stuff. That's the reason why there's a lot of bad stuff out there when it comes to entertainment. I'm not saying that it has to be, you know, like oh super serious things, like everything should be taken too seriously. That's not what I'm saying. Because such criticisms are a valid point. And no show, no movie or whatever is gonna be without the flaws. And it's fun to point them out. And let's be honest with you guys. This show is pretty easy to make fun of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like nothing is going to improve if no one ever says anything about it.
Yeah, but
Also,
as we addressed in the Honest Apple episode, there's a difference between being brutally honest and being brutally blunt.
Yeah. I'm just saying, just because it's a kid show doesn't mean that you can't say anything negative about it or you can't take it seriously.
Exactly.
Tell
I
that
think
to
it takes
Josh.
you seriously to
Yeah,
Josh.
just like Josh Butcher.
Exactly.
But guys, let's just be glad that there's one thing they didn't touch on, like they didn't try and put in.
Well,
What?
I don't think you should mention it here.
Well, it's from a past episode,
That would be.
and I think you pretty much have an idea on what episode I'm talking about.
I have an idea as well, although I'm not sure.
I have an idea.
Will you be okay if I say it?
You want to say it in private?
Okay. Is it that episode?
I'm just gonna flat out say it. At least they didn't address how the fans reacted to they didn't have the ponies in this act like some of the fans did with Philly Vanilli.
I think that would have been too far. That would have been
Yeah,
that
that's
would
what
have
I'm
been
saying.
that would have been too heavy-handed.
Just be glad they didn't go. Yeah, just be glad they didn't go that far.
Yeah.
If they would try, Hasbro would probably ban that
Exactly.
episode.
Yeah.
Exactly. That would have been way too heavy-handed.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just be thankful that didn't happen.
Back
And
again.
Yeah, welcome back, Looney.
hey, Looney.
Sorry, I lost connections for a minute.
Well, still your turn though.
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. If there's anything else
Yeah,
you want to expand
I've pretty
upon.
much said everything I wanted to say.
Alright.
Just that saying so much negative reaction just gets and all that the
Yeah, we see what you mean. So, with that being said, Shufflet, you're up.
Okay, so in order to negative for this episode, we need to go back to a previous season, specifically Times They Are Changing, and its song of how was it that how the quality of this song I will laugh because I was still questioning and I'm still questioning the point of this song for this day. Because at that time sorry, for a moment.
Go on.
Okay, back. Because, see, Spike back then could as well just talk with those ponies, and that will bring exactly the same result as singing this unnecessary and questionable quality song. So let's transition this thought to this episode. That's the exactly same thought I have with this song. Okay, I don't know about the quality, but what was actually the point? As well, speak with those ponies, and the result would be pretty much the same.
I see what you mean. I'll admit it is a very good song, but for the concept of this conflict at hand, it seemed kind of pointless.
kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it kind of did. The more I think about it. Anything else, Shuffler?
So that's all.
Alright, Kanata?
Okay, this episode is. There was not enough moments to really invest in the ending when they said that they were having trouble, that they were having friendship troubles. Yes, a little bit. Well, yes, we saw a little bit of that in the beginning, but we don't know the details. So you know what was going on between that. It would have been nice. Was like what was the problem? What was the problem with them to in the beginning of the episode, and the whole small hop scene. That it's something, but I think that they could have gone a little they could have done a little bit better with that. Add in, just one or two more of those kinds to show that they had friendship problems other than those two times. Or at the very least, go into further details in the beginning, in the first time that they fought, to really, understand, hey, what was going on? Why did they have friendship issues? Other than just seeing that in the hopscotch scene. It's something, and I'm not complaining too much, but I just would have really liked it if they had just put it in a little bit more detail and put in a little bit more effort into that part of the episode.
Again, the same issue we have all over again. 22 minutes time.
I mean, I understand. I understand where you're coming from, but it's just just like explaining in the beginning would have taken like seconds. Adding one tiny scene of them having friendship issues would have done 1 minute. I mean, I know it's like 90 seconds may seem is probably a lot of TV time when it comes to making ML, but I'm sure it could have if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can see what you're coming from.
They could have cut the song and showed that.
Yeah,
Well,
but that's just
by that I actually connects with my negative. If they would, instead of singing, would have just a talk, maybe time to invest more into those two fillies.
yeah. They could have cut some stuff off. I can't give into too much details. I probably should have watched it again, take notes. That's what could have been taken out to replace it with explaining what's happening in the beginning, or add in a small minute, another small moment between them two to show that they had friendship issues. It's not a big, small nitpick I have with the episode. But I'm not complaining too much. It's still something, even though I would have liked to see a little bit more with that in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I have to go on.
I was gonna say about that hopscotch scene. Twilight, the lesson is still there, but not the best source material.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I gotta say. I actually
Yeah.
face palmed when she did that.
Yeah.
And sure that reference peered a few fans.
I just wish they would have just focused on just a little bit more time onto that. It would have made the ending a little bit more powerful. Not that it wasn't powerful already. It would have been made more of an impact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's all I have to say for my negatives.
Alright, now it's time for the topic. Okay, first of all, before we get started, I just want to say one thing that I think all of us forgot to address.
What?
The journal is back?
Well, not that, but well, that too. And it would actually explain why the journal's been absent. But I'm going to talk about the message of the episode. Can we all agree that the moral of the episode was fantastic?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. I agree.
Mm-hmm. That's all we gotta say about that.
I love the line that we can't change how other ponies think about us, but we can change how it affects us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a very strong lesson.
Yep.
Anyways, I'm sure the question that we all have been wondering: did Emily Lawson actually write this episode? Before you all go crazy, let me state my 2 cents on here, and also what we found. Okay, you all know that Emily Lawson was credited as the writer of the episode. We all know that for a fact. But Emily Lawson did say during the Roundtable podcast that there was an episode upcoming that he was credited on writing, even though he had little involvement in it. And we also mentioned it's gonna be this one. But here's the thing that a lot of us have discovered. this episode was actually originally going to be in season 5, which would explain what they did with the journal, which would explain Lawson's involvement somewhat. It was originally going to be aired in season 5, but the beta concept wasn't even included, and Starlight's role was replaced with Spike. So the original writing for the episode was on Larson, and here's my 2 cents on this. We all know this episode was originally going to be in season 5. Maybe, and this is my theory, Lawson did write the original draft for the episode, like the original way the episode was handled, but it may have not aired because of networking issues or scheduling conflicts when it comes to the other episodes that season. But they and the writing staff thought now is as good a time as ever to get this episode out, especially considering Lawson was attached to it, and not to mention this episode aired around the same time as BronyCon. So they added all the meta stuff in there. They put Starlight in Spike's role because of her information and her involvement in recent episodes. So Lawson wrote the original idea. The writing was still there. It was just tweaked. Presumably by Lewis and Sonko, because they were the story editors. So that's my 2 cents on it. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. Lawson did write the episode, but it was originally meant to air earlier. They decided to air it now, better now than never, and just made a few tweaks to make it seem topical.
And it finally addressed the issue I had ever since season 4, which also was addressed by Gray in our co-op review. Shameless self-plug. Where the hell is the journal? They just ditched the idea entirely. But at least they finally, this is back, and it's actually not destroyed. It's actually the Twilight's castle for.
Yeah,
instead of, I don't know, being blown into bits after the Golden Oak Library.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought Twilight would have taken more care of that friendship journal.
Well,
the way that it was like covered in dust and everything, being more protective of it and make sure to keep it clean or something.
Yeah, you would.
As to why it was damaged and stuff, that book could have just been salvaged from the library after Keurig destroyed it.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Good point.
That could be why it is like it was in that condition.
Well, given the condition of the whole library and everything that was in it, it's still a little bit of a long shot. Possible, but a long shot.
Yeah, why would Twilight put it there? I thought Twilight would, Twilight would make like a specific, what do you call it? It's like something you would, yeah, like a display case. It's like put it inside like a specific display case to make sure that it's there for like people to look at, to reminisce of it, not just hide it behind other books like just an ordinary book. This is the friendship journal. I thought she would have taken more care of it since it had a lot more everybody than just a lot of the books that were just in the shelves.
Yeah.
Which I guess of the point that should be a season 5 episode, then it would actually make sense why Twilight didn't think about the journal and trying to take care of it a lot sooner.
Mm-hmm.
And we can name a few episodes in season 5 that would be better to be replaced.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like Magic Sheet, so don't even go there.
That's why I said few, not one.
Yeah, but if that episode was pushed back to season 6 or something, I wouldn't mind.
No, I wouldn't mind either.
Mm-hmm.
I think when Rooney's trying to say something, I keep hearing robotic voices on his end.
Looney, did you want to say something?
Sounds like he's trying to get something out, but robotic voices just keep on
It's
popping
still
in.
too lagging. His call is still too lagging.
Yeah, he's lagging super hard.
Unfortunately, his call is too lagging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyways, anyone else want to say something about this topic here?
me. Okay, what I have to say, a little bit of an idea that actually came in my head. What if this episode was originally supposed to be the 100th episode before they decide to go with the slice of life route?
Oh my! I never
Yeah.
thought about that
You know what, Violet?
idea.
You know what, Violet? If that was the case, I would actually buy that. If that was actually the case, I
Same
believe,
here.
yeah, I'll go with that.
Eh.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Aren't we coming up with the 200th episode? Aren't we getting up there?
Oh, we are. We're getting up to the 200.
Let's see. I gotta
Slowly.
work this out here.
Just wait 3 more seasons.
Well, I'll do the math later. But anyways, yeah, if this was actually originally gonna be the 100th episode before it was replaced by Slice of Life, which is also written by Amy Larson, conveniently enough, I'll buy that. I would actually buy that.
I think what might have happened is that like they had like all the episodes like reserved for like season 5, and that's like the only slot available was like episode like number 100, and I think they had to choose either Slice of Life or this episode. So I think this episode unfortunately just got kicked out of the curve, since like all season 5 episodes were just already planned, prepared, and made and everything. There was just no room to put that in, unless you wanted a finale, a one-parter, which I think would have done more damage than good.
Yeah.
I think that this episode was too bold at that time because come on, they are actually more how do I should put that? They're less afraid of putting some topics in this episode and stay season 7 because back in season 4 they were still going in with the easy route.
It just didn't feel ready to do it.
So maybe that's why this episode was dumped as a season as 100th episode.
Maybe, but
maybe, but that's another what if question.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with that,
I'm thankful this wasn't the 100th episode.
Sorry?
Sorry. Did you say something?
Only said 100th episode.
Well, this wasn't the 100th episode.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
I can see where you're coming from with that. I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, like I said, my main theory, it kind of goes along with my own theory, is that it was originally going to be season 5, but was cut off due to scheduling conflicts. That's kind of my theory. But anyways, let's just give out a range for the episode, shall we?
Okay.
Well, Kanata, what would you give it?
I'm gonna give this episode a 4.5 out of 5. It was they added some nice episodes. They did a nice representation of the fandom as a whole. The song was pretty good. I love the episode. I could see this being a really personal and a big wake a lot of fans in this fandom. Like when this series ends, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people put this in their top 10 or even top 5 MLP episodes of all time. I could just see that big of an impact happening in this episode. The only problem I have with this episode is what I brought up. But other than that, I nearly flawless episode. 4.5 out of 5 for me.
Chocolate?
Yeah, I have a little bit problem with that because I am debating whether or not should I refuse to. It's not attack on you, dang it! It's not attack on you, Venom, or something, or some sort of sabotage. Because and that episode was actually hilarious. The fan, but from my point of view as a reviewer, this is actually a tough call because I see this episode as a kind of a because let's face it, reviewers are kind of a big part in this episode. How the some fandom wars started, but let's not go into details. So it's kind of feel for me like a trap. So if the reviewer would uh, just dang it, I lost the word. If the reviewer would praise the episode, they would like the writers. But if they would the opposite, like completely talk bad about this episode, it would feel like this episode pretty much that proves the point of this episode. So I'm not sure if I should rate this rate this episode.
I think his brain is slowly starting to break.
So with all the respect for you, Venom, and for all of you, I still need some extra perspective on this episode, which is why, unfortunately, I am not rating this episode at all.
Understandable.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, Looney, what would you give it?
I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Alrighty. Sounds good.
I feel like it suffered from some pacing issues, an anticlimactic ending, and a very forgettable song. And it made me laugh, but it wasn't the best episode.
Alright.
I can see where you're coming from.
Yep. David?
Okay, my rating is 4 out of 5.
Okay.
And I heard a dog.
Sorry.
Crimson?
And that
What's your rating for the episode? If you're willing to give it.
No, it's less.
What was that, buddy?
I'm just not sure how to rate the episode.
You can always skip it for a bit, just like what Sharpwood's doing. It's up to you.
I'll give 4 out of 5.
4?
Yeah.
Alright. Alright, let's see. Daniel?
5 out of 5.
5. Alright,
Start with toothpaste stands.
Yoshi had to leave early. I assume, but
Crimson, if you mind.
Weak pendulum monster to my hand.
I think he's gonna notice.
Anyways, Yoshi had to leave early, I think, but he gave the episode a 4.5 out of 5.
Magician. Hey, your move.
And let's see, Violet?
Honestly, I'm gonna give this episode a 4 out of 5.
Alright.
Wow, am I the only one that gave it a 5 out of 5?
So far, yes. So far, yes. There has been 2 4.5 out of 5, 3 4 out of 5, and 1 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, except you're missing one person. Me. And it makes sense that I want to go last. Okay,
I'm going into the pendulum scale after he is fed, and I circle
Okay,
that
Venom.
for
Yep, okay. I originally had a lot of trouble finding a rating for the episode because while I do love like absolutely love it, I just didn't know what to give it. Like it took me a little bit of time to analyze the whole thing, and you, I know I kind of sound hypocritical where this episode kind of call out all the nitpickers where all I'm doing is just nitpicking. But I don't know. The episode was just so dang funny. It gave a good insight on the characters, especially for the main six. Starlight was good in her role, even though it should have been Spike. Um, honestly, that's good. I'm also gonna give the episode a 5 out of 5. Because I enjoyed this episode so much, but so much. The episode was dropped dead hilarious. In my opinion, it is the funniest episode of the season. It addressed a lot of good points. Um, it was good. It was a good meta episode. It was good commentary. It gave me good insight on each of the main six as characters, and I said each of them, not just one in a single episode. But yeah, despite some of my problems I have, like Spike being absent, but it's negligible because I enjoy the episodes far too much to drop that 5 out of 5 down to a 4.5. So yeah, that's a 5 out of 5 for me.
That's good.
Oh boy. Alright, just give me a second to
Okay.
give me a moment to do the math here. Gosh, I feel so unprepared for this. Kind of characteristic for this episode, isn't it? Whew. Yeah, just give me a moment to put up the rating for the episode.
Take your time.
Mm-hmm. Alright, I think I got it figured out. Put the numbers in. Okay, I think I got it figured out now. Alright. Our overall rating for Fame and Misfortune is a 4.5.
Yay!
Quite high.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
Yep. Yeah, it turned out pretty well. But that will be it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Tune in next time where we tackle Triple Threat. And
To be honest, I'm afraid of this episode.
It's in here.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. So
Remember, you remember.
Of course. Anyways, thank you all so much for joining, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.
See you later, every pony.
Bye. May the horse be with you all.
And before we go, I want to say one thing, and I say it in the most unironic thing I'll ever say. Thanks, Amy Watson.
With Lemon and Zam.